and hop in. Good afternoon. This is Efron from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is the market wrap for February 19th, 2019. Q's up just a little over 1/3%, and the SPY up very similar. Okay, well, we got about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes. And so we'll get a better idea as we approach the close, exactly how we're going to close out today. Small gap down. I think some of the banks, European banks, reported weak numbers due to trade kind of stresses and Brexit and things like that. And so that kind of started off like a weak pre-market, but the market, at least the domestic market, SPY and Qs, saw that as a buying opportunity. So it got bought right at the open and has been in an uptrend all day. So when we were looking at the market here, I was saying, if we get underneath this pivot, then we shed the bullish bias. And you can see we never did. Really just continued the bullishness here, right? Here's the low. Here's a higher high, higher low, higher high. So it's been in an uptrend. So as you might expect, the focus was on the gap ups, not only because the market itself was gapping down, so anything gapping up had relative strength, but the market's been in an uptrend. So that's helped some of the longs get better moves there. I think the first play there, Sammy had a call on the mat, which was a climactic continuation from Friday. So they played it long there in the morning over 1270 by low of the day. So that was a huge play on the mat. Just a 15-cent stop. And the management was really good too on the MAT. So that was a nice move there. That was the first play of the day from Sammy there on the mat. Just looking at the drop that it got and then the continuation in the morning and then playing that counter trend as a climactic buy setup. Only thing I called today, and it did trigger, was the CNDT. That was the only thing that I played as well. The only thing I played. We got this pullback here. So I played the secondary entry. Over 1441. Stop was 1428. Okay, so a nice tight stop there. And so we had a 5-minute buy setup here. Okay, not that different. As you recall, I tried to really hammer it home last week, playing the same setups over and over again so I can know what the expectancy is, and that's what's working, so I'm still playing it. Here's the SU. Look at the SU. 5-minute buy setup, right, on the SU. Today, played the CNDT. Same thing, 5-minute buy setup. So it moved. We got a pro gap up, pulls back. This is essentially a retracement, right? Retracement, and then we enter in over 1441. Okay, we also did the BLMN on Thursday. Okay, are these all starting to look the same here? Move up, retracement, and then we play it back up. Management was managed the same as well. Okay, the CNDT, we got up to the highs here. I was looking initially for something like 1475 just as a placeholder because I just wanted to make sure we got a nice move on the front half. We're into this wide range red bar, so I want to see how much of this I can retrace. Okay, would have been nice if we got all the way to 1740. Not very realistic. So the way I wanted to handle this is that once we got into lunch to look to trail. Okay, so the first trail we did 2-minute bar by bar. That trailed underneath 80, so we got half out at 79. Then I moved to a 5-minute trail, and that trailed right here under 81. And then we held the runner, which trailed on the hourly not too long ago, under 60. Okay, so that last runner piece, didn't really make didn't make much and kind of gave back some, but that's okay. That's the plan. There's a lot of room for this to move up. You could carry this over into tomorrow to see if the CNDT gets more of a move up there. But that was just managing according to the plan. Wanted to see how much we could get out of it. That's something that you want to have in your plan because sometimes you're going to be playing symbols that don't have clear targets. Maybe they're all-time highs, all-time lows, or in this case, lots of void above. So you can look for reversal times. You can look for an arbitrary profit amount to say, once we're up there, I want to lock it in. I know someone who played it who took the whole thing here at lunch, so that was kind of the best management you could have come up with. I just wanted to make sure that if there was more to be had, that we were there for it. Okay, so I think, something like this, let's see if I believe the INSY, yeah, it's got a good amount of room there on the daily, right? So in the next, 23 minutes, is this going to get to really 620? Probably not. So you want to have some kind of management plan, a way to take profits or trail when the targets are big or maybe unrealistic, or there's no clear reference on the charts in the case of all-time highs, all-time lows. So I use a combination of reversal times and a specific R amount. So I'll look for, once we're up over 2 Rs, as a good means to trail, and then the runner will just be trailed. In this case, the runner kind of gave back a lot as far as from the highs. It was still profitable on the runner, but it did kind of peel a good amount off of the highs there. Okay, so the only thing that I'm kind of watching here into the last like 20 minutes or so is this TTS. I like this gap a lot on this TTS. Clearing this pivot is into this grind, but I think this could move lower. So this is the favorite here, the TTS into the end of the day here. Don't know if it's going to trigger. I was thinking 20 by 31 as so 11, 12 cents stop there. Get it back to the lows there. It would be close to 2R, so maybe 2 to 1 on that. Not too bad there. Just taking a scan to see if there's anything else on the thumbnails that look good. No, that's really the favorite, is that TTS. I like that one the most. And so, yeah, I do feel like, the longs have been working out pretty well. Qs and SPY here, we've just been bullish for the last week or so. We put in this buy setup on the daily, and it's just been holding up there. So longer term, we've been bullish since this buy setup has been underway. And then the hourly here, uptrend is holding so far. So maybe this turns into a breakout failure. That's like the most aggressive entry or pattern I could suggest to say, well, maybe the top is in, but otherwise, for at least longer term, we're talking the next days and weeks, I'm bullish. For the next hours and days, still bullish. We'll see if this turns into like a breakout failure here. Qs, SPY, recent new high, and then if they come underneath this base, you could look to be neutral, but hourly uptrend is still intact here. So it's definitely on the aggressive side to start shifting to a short-term bearish bias or even kind of neutral bias. So just going to continue with the bullish bias for now. Let's take a look at the resistance here. That's to the left. The SPY still has room. I'd be looking for more like 278.80 as resistant, 279. And then the Qs, we're pretty much there, but we're basing at the resistance here. So the way that we're dealing with it is pretty bullish though. So Qs and SPY just going to be bullish going into the rest of the week. What we'll be looking for to shed the bullish bias is if we put in some kind of buy setup and then fail. So here we had a buy setup, but that buy setup ended up falling through. Did get retested right there. Okay, and so same with the SPY. We got a pullback, got a retest with the gap down, and that support held. So we're making higher highs and higher lows, so I just can't be anything else but bullish. And then the daily for the long-term bias, as long as this buy setup's still intact, have to be bullish. Okay, so pretty straightforward. We still should have plenty of earnings this week, and I think the big one today was like the Walmart, but I do find the Walmart pretty tough. From a gap ranking standpoint, this wasn't a very high quality gap, so while I did think it could go higher from the open, it wasn't anything I was looking for an aggressive entry on. So, but as far as like the large names, I think this was the kind of the biggest one today, the largest cap names. So yeah, it moved up from the open, and then since then has been selling off. You know, you don't really have the shock value coming from multiple green bars here. Size only needed to be really over just these pivots here, gapping a little bit too far. So it just wasn't a high quality gap on the Walmart. So, you know, we didn't go after that, but we did go after the CNDT. The MAT was the climactic. One that kind of slipped by was the NAVI, I believe. Yeah, this one I kind of lost track. I thought this was a little bit too aggressive in it of an entry, been staying near the lows, but maybe into the afternoon here was decent enough. Yeah, still not the easiest. So this one kind of slipped by, kind of took it off a chart, but ended up working out pretty well in AVI. So there was a missed opportunity there, but you know, now I'm not so sure. It is kind of trying to do a 5-minute buy setup, but focus right now is the 15. It's up too much, too extended. So just going to be a pass on that. So that just leaves the TTS. It's really the only thing I'm watching here. Okay. So we'll carry the bullish bias into tomorrow. Again, the focus now that we are winding down earnings season, but still in earnings season, it's the individual names that we're going to be focused on, okay? Focusing on the gaps. All right, so I hope you did well today. If not, took it easy. But we still have a few more days to make something out of the week. All right, so we'll see what the market brings us tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. All right, have a great evening.